When I think about the love of Jesus, I feel joy down in my soul. When I think about the love of Jesus and that wonderful day He'll take me home. Hi. I'm so glad I get to talk to you today because I want to let you know He loves you. It's amazing how fast time goes. I remember when I was younger, I used to wonder if I would live long enough to see my grandchildren. And I'm so blessed to say that I have 13 grandchildren. And I have 6 great-grandchildren. And just growing up myself and watching them grow, it's just amazing how fast time goes. We don't have long to love one another and cherish one another. The time just goes by so fast. When one of my granddaughters turned 21 and she had a good job, a new car, and she decided she wanted to get her own place, move out, get her own apartment and experience life on her own. She said, "Grandma, I just can't just keep living with everyone. I just want to spread my wings and fly." I could understand her feelings. I just didn't know if it was the right time for her to do that, and I'm so protective. I just didn't want her to be out there in the world by herself. But anyway, the time came and it was move out day, and she rented a van and dollies, and her brother and I was going to help her move some large boxes that she had delivered to the house. And she packed some things in her vehicle, and I drove the van over to her apartment to help her move these large boxes that her and her brother had put in the van. And so anyway, when we got to her apartment, we moved the things out of her vehicle, and then we went to move the boxes out of the van up to her 3rd floor apartment. And the dollies that she rented were not in the van. So we struggled with the boxes. We got some of them moved out of the van into the door of the apartment complex, but picking them up and trying to get them into the building was almost impossible for us to do. We even tried to do it together, all 3 of us carrying them, and they were so cumbersome and just so heavy and difficult for us to move without dollies. And this couple and their son came walking up the sidewalk, and they said, do you need some help? And I said, yeah. I said, my granddaughter's moving in here. They lived there in the complex, and I said, my granddaughter's moving in, and she rented this van with dollies, but they didn't put the dollies in the van, so we don't have our dollies, and we're struggling here with these boxes. And they just looked at me and smiled, and they said, well, we can help. And so they started picking up the boxes, no problem at all, and carrying them into her apartment complex, and she went with them to her room to unlock the door and everything, and they came back down to get another load. And I said, wow, thank you so much. I don't know what we were gonna do without the dollies. They forgot to give us the dollies, and the lady just looked at me and she kind of smiled and she said, "We're Dollies." And I looked at her and she said, "Our last name is Dolly." And I went, "Wow." and we all just kind of laughed, and I said, "Wow, we got our dollies." And they just kind of chuckled, and they continued to help us until the task was done, and we just thanked them so much. And my grandson, who was there with us, said, "Grandma," he said, if we would have came 5 minutes earlier or 5 minutes later, we would have missed the dollies." And I said, "I know." I said, "Wow, God's timing was just perfect, and He provided exactly who we needed at that time." And to me, it was so meaningful because it was His way of telling me, "Okay, Grandma, I got her. I knew she wasn't going to have her dollies, but I provided exactly who she needed, what you needed, to let you know she's going to be okay here. She's in a place with good people, and I am with her. Just like I've always assured you, I'm with you. I'll never leave you or forsake you, because I love you." And that's what He wants to let you know today. He knows everything that's happening in your life. He'll be there when you need Him with exactly who you need. Right after my granddaughter moved out, I got a call asking if I would have room for one of my great-granddaughters to stay with me for a while. So by my granddaughter leaving, that opened up her room for my great-granddaughter to come and stay for as long as she needs to stay. He never fails to amaze me. Now I get to spend time getting to know her and letting her know how much she's loved and how much He loves her, just like He loves you. God is with us all the way in every step of our life. We just need to open up to Him and receive His love and let Him know that we love Him. He loves you.